It started small, like background noise you almost ignore. Madison's friends came around more often, loud, confident, always judging. They laughed about cheating like it was some kind of game. They called relationships a cage, love a trap, loyalty boring. I tried to stay polite, to blend into their chaos. But every visit left a strange tension, hanging in the air. One of them, Jenna, once looked at me and said, "Tied down already." She smirked like she knew something I didn't. After they left, I told Madison her friends seemed toxic. She rolled her eyes, said I was paranoid and controlling. So I let it go, even though my gut screamed otherwise. Weeks passed, and her habits changed in subtle, painful ways. She texted less, smiled less, but dressed up more. She'd leave for girls' nights almost every weekend. I'd ask where they were going, and she'd say, "Just out." When I offered to pick her up, she'd refuse with a laugh. Her phone was always face down, always locked, always close. Once, I walked in, and she jumped like I caught her stealing. I asked what she was hiding. She laughed too quickly. That laugh still echoes in my head sometimes. She started showering the second she came home. No hi, no kiss, just straight to the bathroom. The smell of perfume and unfamiliar cologne lingered behind. I noticed, but I told myself not to. Love makes you blind, but trust makes you foolish. I wanted to believe her. I really did. She'd hug me tighter than usual, say she missed me. Her affection felt forced, like she was acting in a scene. I couldn't shake the feeling that she was compensating. Every "I love you" sounded rehearsed, not real. Benny sensed it too. He'd bark at random corners when she was around. Maybe he felt the tension we both ignored. Late at night, I'd lie awake beside her and feel distance. Her back turned, her breathing steady, my thoughts loud. I kept thinking maybe it was stress, maybe she was overwhelmed. Maybe I was imagining everything. But the truth doesn't hide forever, it waits for its turn. The more I tried to act normal, the stranger she became. Her eyes stopped meeting mine, her touch lost warmth. I caught her once staring at her phone, smiling softly. When she noticed me, the smile vanished instantly. She said it was a meme. I said okay, pretending to believe her. I wanted to be the kind of man who trusted. I didn't want to become paranoid, needy, or bitter. But the silence between us started to feel heavy. Even Benny stopped sleeping near her side of the bed. I remember thinking one night, maybe this is just a phase. Maybe she'll come back to me when things calm down. But somewhere deep inside, I already knew the truth. The woman I loved wasn't really there anymore. And I had no idea that a small camera in our living room was about to show me exactly how far she'd already gone. The night everything changed felt painfully ordinary at first. I was on a short business trip in Austin, 3 days away from home. Meetings, fake smiles, bad coffee, the usual routine. Madison texted me earlier saying she might have a friend stay over. I didn't think much of it. I trusted her completely. After dinner with coworkers, I returned to my hotel room exhausted. The silence felt heavier than usual, but I ignored it. Around midnight, I started scrolling aimlessly on my phone. Then, a notification appeared from the pet camera app. Benny probably knocked over something again, I thought. I opened it without expecting anything. The video feed loaded slowly, then froze for a second. When it cleared, my heart dropped. There was a man in our living room, shirtless, calm, confident. He walked like he belonged there, not sneaking, not afraid. For a moment, I thought maybe I misclicked an old clip. But then Madison walked in wearing my hoodie, and nothing else. She laughed, wrapped her arms around him, and kissed him. It wasn't a mistake, it wasn't confusion, it was betrayal. Benny wagged his tail, completely unaware of the destruction unfolding. They disappeared into the bedroom, my bedroom. The feed went quiet, the light dimmed, but I couldn't look away. I sat frozen, phone shaking in my hands. There was no yelling, no anger, just numb disbelief. I kept staring, hoping maybe I'd wake up from it. But reality didn't flinch. It stayed right there on that glowing screen. My heart felt like it had forgotten how to beat. The room around me blurred until all I saw was them. I didn't even realize my hands were trembling. All the memories we built together crashed into that moment. Every joke, every promise, every I love you. They all meant nothing now. I stayed awake the whole night, staring at the ceiling. The sound of hotel air conditioning felt deafening. Around 4 a.m., I opened our messages. She'd texted hours before, "Hope your meeting went well. Love you." That little heart emoji hit me like a punch. So fake, so hollow, so meaningless now. I thought about texting her something simple like, "I saw." But I didn't. I wanted to come home calm, collected, not broken. When morning came, I forced myself through meetings. I smiled, nodded, spoke, but I wasn't really there. Every word I said felt like someone else's voice. By the time I got back to my room, I'd made a decision. No confrontation yet, no drama, just silence. Silence was power. I wasn't going to cry or beg or scream. I wanted her to show me who she truly was without knowing I knew. That was the plan forming quietly in my mind. To watch her one last time, not as my girlfriend, but as the stranger she had already become. When I finally came home, everything looked the same, but nothing felt right. The air was heavy, the walls quiet, and Benny's bark was the only welcome I wanted. Madison wasn't home yet, which gave me time to breathe, to think. Her note on the counter said, "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe." The handwriting felt fake now, like it belonged to someone else. I sat on the couch, staring at it, trying not to laugh at the absurdity. Chris called to check in, asked if I was ready to confront her. I told him I wasn't going to scream or cry, just tell the truth. He said, "That's cold," and I replied, "It's honest." By the time Madison came home, I was ready. She walked in smiling, radiant, acting like nothing was wrong. Benny ran to her, tail wagging, and she greeted him with kisses. Then she turned to me, kissed my cheek, and said, "You're back." I didn't move. I just said, "We need to talk." She froze for a second, confused, then laughed nervously. "What's up?" she asked. I pulled out my phone, opened the pet camera app, and pressed play. The color drained from her face as the video played. Her voice vanished. The room fell into complete silence. When the clip ended, she stood there, expression blank. Then came the line I'll never forget. "I can explain." I said nothing. I just waited. "It wasn't what you think," she said quickly. I almost laughed at how predictable it sounded. "Not what I think." "I watched you," I replied. She shifted, crossed her arms, and said, "It was a dare." I blinked. "A what?" "My friends dared me to text my ex, just for fun. It got out of hand." I stared at her, speechless. "So you cheated because your friends dared you?" She nodded like it made sense. "You don't get it," she added. "They pushed me into things. I didn't want to look stupid." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "You threw away everything because you didn't want to look stupid." Her tone changed, sharper now. "You always think you're perfect. Maybe this is your fault." I felt something snap inside me, but I stayed calm. "I trusted you," I said quietly. She shrugged. Maybe that was the problem. For a moment, time stopped. "The problem," I repeated, "was that I trusted you." She looked away, said it was a test. "A test to see if you notice, to see if you cared." I sat down, too exhausted to react. "I was going to propose to you," I said softly. Her mouth opened slightly, shock flashing across her face. "You were," she whispered. "Yeah," I said, and now I'm wondering how I ever thought that made sense. Tears formed in her eyes, but they felt rehearsed. She said, "We can work this out, can't we?" I stood, grabbed my bag, and called Benny to my side. She followed me to the door, begging, "You can't just leave." I turned once and said, "I watched you betray me on camera. This isn't overreacting. This is reality. She said I'd regret it, but I already knew I wouldn't. Because the moment I stepped outside, I finally felt free. The next morning, I woke up on Chris's couch with Benny snoring beside me. For the first time in months, I actually slept through the night. No tension, no fake apologies, no pretending everything was fine. I made coffee, stared out his small apartment window, and felt nothing but quiet. Then I picked up my phone and started cutting ties. Netflix gone, Spotify gone, Hulu, Disney Plus, every shared account deleted. She was probably still logged in, but not for long. I called the internet company, the electric company, the landlord. Everything was under my name, and I wasn't paying another cent. Within hours, my life detached from hers completely. It was clean, sharp, and strangely satisfying. By noon, I had erased myself from that apartment like I never existed. Then the messages started coming in. Hey, I can't log into Netflix. Did we get hacked? 2 minutes later, Spotify too, what's going on? I didn't respond. At 12:30, another ping. Wow, real mature. Then, you're being childish over one mistake. Then, you seriously took the dog. He likes me better. Every text was like a bad punchline to a joke she didn't understand. Silence is louder than anger, and she could finally hear it. That evening, Chris came home with takeout and 2 beers. He didn't say much, just handed me a drink and nodded. We ate in silence, Benny chewing on a toy between us. Feels weird, doesn't it? He said finally. Yeah, I replied. Weird but right. He smiled, said, That's peace, man, don't lose it. A few days later, Madison's tone changed. Can we talk? She texted. Please, I can't pay rent alone. I almost laughed at that one. I replied once, I'm no longer on the lease. You're responsible for your portion now. 10 minutes later, she called. I didn't answer. Then the flood came in. You can't just leave like that. I can't afford this place. You're ruining my life. I turned off notifications and took Benny for a walk. The evening air felt lighter, the street quieter. For the first time, the silence didn't feel empty. It felt clean. When I got back, Chris was watching some dumb sitcom. He looked up and said, You good? I nodded. Better than I've been in a long time. He grinned, Then don't look back. And I didn't. By the end of that week, I moved my things into a small rental nearby. 1 bedroom, small kitchen, sunlight through the blinds every morning. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I set up my desk, Benny's bed under the window, and took a deep breath. That was the sound of starting over. No noise, no drama, no guilt. Just peace, the kind you earn by finally walking away. Weeks passed, and life slowly found rhythm again. I worked during the day, walked Benny at night, and kept my phone on silent. Madison hadn't called in days, but her name still lingered in my head. Then the rumors started to reach me, carried by people I barely knew. She was telling everyone I'd abandoned her, left her with rent and bills. Apparently, I was the villain now, the cold-hearted boyfriend who ghosted. It would have hurt once, but now it just made me laugh. The same girl who cheated on camera was rewriting the story. That's how people like her survive, by changing the ending. I ignored it, choosing silence over argument. Then one night, an old friend sent me a message. Hey man, heard Madison's guy laid on her. I asked which guy, pretending not to know. The one she cheated with. He's gone, just disappeared. The irony hit harder than I expected. She chose betrayal, and betrayal chose her right back. I almost felt sorry for her, almost. Word spread that she couldn't pay rent and had to move out. She tried to find a roommate, but no one wanted in. People talk, and her name had become a warning. One of her friends posted something vague about cutting toxic people. Soon after, Madison's pictures started showing fewer faces. The friends she defended so fiercely were gone too. It was like watching a slow, collapse from a distance. No shouting, no satisfaction, just quiet justice. Meanwhile, Benny and I were thriving. He'd gained some weight, learned to high-five, and claimed half my bed. We had a park nearby, where he chased squirrels like it was a mission. Neighbors adored him, especially the old man downstairs. He'd slip Benny small pieces of turkey every time we passed. It became part of our routine, like a tiny new world we built. Work picked up again, small freelance gigs that paid well enough. I filled the silence with music instead of memories. Sometimes, late at night, I'd still think about that clip. Not with anger, but with disbelief that it ever happened. How someone could destroy something real for attention. Her friends had dared her, but she dared fate instead. And fate doesn't forgive stupidity. Every once in a while, I'd hear more stories. She was staying with a cousin, selling used clothes online. Complaining about how life wasn't fair, how everyone left her. No one believed her anymore, and she hated being ignored. She always needed an audience, even in her downfall. I never replied, never reached out, never checked her pages. Curiosity faded the moment peace settled in. Revenge wasn't needed. Reality handled it for me. Sometimes karma doesn't roar, it whispers. It just takes everything from the one who took too much. And I didn't have to lift a finger. All I had to do was leave. Months passed, and the noise in my head finally faded. The anger was gone, replaced by something softer, quieter. Peace doesn't arrive all at once. It sneaks in slowly, unnoticed. I built a new routine, simple and steady, nothing dramatic. Wake up, feed Benny, work, walk, rest, repeat. The kind of rhythm that heals you without asking permission. My apartment was small, but it felt like freedom. Sunlight spilled through the window, every morning onto Benny's bed. He'd stretch, yawn, and look at me like everything was okay again. And for once, it actually was. I started going to the gym with Chris on weekends. We joked about getting strong, but really we just needed structure. Work was good, steady projects, honest pay, no drama attached. Clients smiled, deadlines were met, life became predictable, beautifully so. Some nights I'd go out for coffee or meet someone new. Nothing serious, just small moments that reminded me I was still alive. One girl talked about books, another about travel, another about dogs. They all had light in their eyes, and it felt safe to look again. I wasn't searching for love, just peace, and I'd already found it. Madison never contacted me again directly, at least not at first. But people talk, even when you don't ask them to. One day, a message popped up from an old classmate. "Hey, heard your ex has been telling people you ghosted her." I laughed so hard I had to put my phone down. It was almost impressive how quickly she rewrote history. In her story, I was the cold one, the heartless one. Not the man who watched his world collapse through a pet camera. It didn't even make me mad anymore. Because people like her can't survive without being the victim. And I was finally free from her story. Later, someone else told me the guy she cheated with left her too. Said she was too clingy and had crazy ex energy. The irony nearly made me choke on my coffee. She built her world on lies, and it fell exactly as expected. Meanwhile, mine stood steady, quiet, peaceful. Benny was thriving, tail wagging like a metronome of joy. He learned new tricks, made friends, and became the heart of my home. Every day, he reminded me what loyalty really looked like. He didn't need to test me to know I cared. He just stayed, simple as that. One evening, while watching a movie, my phone buzzed again. Unknown number, a voicemail. It was Madison, voice shaky but not truly sad. "Hey, the Disney Plus password isn't working. Can you send it?" I almost laughed out loud. Not "I'm sorry," not "I was wrong," just "can I still watch movies?" I blocked the number, gave Benny a treat, and hit play. The credits rolled, the room was calm, and he fell asleep beside me. That's when I realized peace doesn't need witnesses. It just needs quiet, a loyal dog, and a heart that finally lets go. I used to think love meant holding on no matter what. Now I know love also means knowing when to walk away. Some endings aren't failures, they're freedom disguised as loss. Madison taught me that peace is louder than apologies. She tested loyalty and lost it. I protected mine and found myself again. Life is quieter now, but it's the kind of quiet that feels alive. Morning light, warm coffee, Benny sleeping by my feet. No drama, no lies, just space to breathe again. Sometimes I still think about that night, but it doesn't hurt anymore. It's just a reminder of how far I've come. I don't hate her, I don't miss her, I just don't need her story. Because peace isn't loud or glamorous. It's steady, it's calm, it's earned. If you ever have to choose between chaos and calm, choose calm. Choose yourself. Choose the people and the moments that never make you doubt. Choose the kind of love that doesn't need to be tested. Choose peace. Choose dogs. And keep your passwords to yourself.